and welcome to Season 2, Episode 11 of Good Game Well Played, the ABC's only, and therefore by definition, the ABC's best, show about esports. My name is Hingers, and today on the show, we'll be chatting to Rusty from Riot about the new patch changes to League of Legends, that is mid-season magic. But first, let us look at the news. And we start with crushing my precious little heart news, as matchfixing continues to rock the Starcraft 2 pro scene. Former SC2 World Champion Life, real name Lee Seung-hyun, and fellow Korean pro Byung, real name Jung Woo-yong, have both been charged by Korean prosecutors in relation to matchfixing. According to authorities, Life is accused of fixing 2 Casper Cup matches last year in exchange for 70 million won. That is about $80,000 Australian. Former Team Liquid editor-in-chief Saint Snorlax wrote on Twitter, "The fee to throw matches in Casper Cup was 7 times the prize money for first place. You maniacs, you blew it up. Damn you. Damn you all to hell." I've never seen Planet of the Apes. And for a more in-depth look at matchfixing in Starcraft, you can see episode 1 of this season of Well Played. Do it. And to Super Smash Bros. News, Smash Summit 2 has wrapped up in Los Angeles, California. Swedish pro Armada from Team Alliance took on Hungrybox in the grand finals after clawing his way back from the losers bracket. Smash Summit 2 was Armada's second major tournament win of 2016. Congratulations, Armada. Enjoy your bragging rights. And now to eSports / pornography news. ESL has prohibited Team YP from participating in any ESL events. The largest esports company in the world has banned Team YP due to a rule that prohibits sponsors that are, quote, widely known for pornographic or other adult, mature themes and products. It should be said, Team YP has made attempts to distance itself from its sponsor, that is, YouPorn, by removing the company's logo and name from team material, and also removing links to the adult website from the team's homepage. However, in the eyes of ESL, that was just not enough. Frankly, they should have seen this coming. Team YP now have some hard choices to make. That story was a bit of an anticlimax. If you ask me, Team YP really got fucked. Alright, I give up. And now, let's go into the rift. I'm now joined by Rusty from Riot, who is a caster for both the Chinese and Oceanic Pro Leagues, and he's here to talk about the latest changes in the patch to League of Legends. So what can we be expecting from this new patch?
So the biggest thing about this patch, and my favorite change, is that everybody now has a unique identity. No one feels the same, everyone has a unique playstyle and caters to anyone's needs.
We're talking about different changes. The first big one is the Dragons. How is that going to affect esports?
The dragon changes are going to make everyone fight all the time. There will be no stopping in the fighting. Every 6 minutes when it spawns, a random dragon will spawn. It could be a fire, earth, air, and water dragon, and each one gives unique traits by taking that dragon. It also means that in competitive, there will be a lot more fights for these dragons because the buffs that they give are pretty much ridiculous, I think is the easy way to say it. And at 35 minutes, there is an elder dragon now, which is basically the big boss dragon that gives you a ridiculous buff that everyone should be fighting for.
But will that favour certain teams, do you think?
Absolutely. So as an example from the LPL league that I cast, RNG, who are now going over to MSI, they love to fight for dragons. In fact, that's pretty much all they fight for, and with much more emphasis on that, they'll absolutely be looking to fight wherever they can. That might favour them, whereas teams like Legacy, as an example from the Oceanic leagues, they like to play slow and actually work around the map slowly and patiently, and now that people could be forcing fights on them, could be a little bit crazy for them to handle.
There's also been changes to the Rift Herald. What can you tell us about that?
So the Rift Herald only spawns once now, and it stays in the Baron's Pit, but if you take it down, it lasts 20 minutes, the buff that you get, and that is actually the counteract, I would say, to the dragons being taken down, which forces team fights where you don't have to team fight with the Rift Herald. You just stay in a side lane and you hide from the rest of the enemies and take down turrets by yourself.
Like a sneak attack.
Yeah, the lone warrior essentially sits in the side lane.
We've also seen changes to items in this latest patch. Can you tell us a bit about how that's going to affect professional play?
Yeah, so items have been changed in very unique ways, and it's really hard to predict just yet because of how intricate items can be as to what the change will directly relate to. But for the most part, champions who now use their mana pool will get health back for doing so, and vice versa. So it's very intricate and very delicate to now work around knowing what you should buy, when you should buy it, and why you're buying it.
Does that mean that certain items that were not kind of viable in professional play will now be more viable, or vice versa?
So it goes that way, and the same with champions in that respect. So the first thing is certain items might be good, and certain champions might be good with certain items that weren't good, but now they are, the champion is, and there's this direct correlation. So items that we had not seen used in competitive play and brand new items that have been recently released as well will definitely start to show up in competitive play, and alongside those champions that will effectively use the items. I'm looking at Swain as an example. He will love the new Catalyst and Rod of Ages.
You were talking before about different champions and how they might be changing. Specifically, Riot are going to be changing mages and how they work in the new patch. Can you give us kind of a bit of a rundown of what changes are being made?
Yeah, so every champion has had small changes. There's nothing crazy about their kit that has been remade, but the small changes make them super unique, and as an example, Brand loves to hit his area of effect spells. He's ideally hitting multiple people, or he's not being efficient or optimal in the way that he's doing it. Vel'Koz, as an example, needs to combo spells together, otherwise he won't be doing enough damage. But if he does actually combo them effectively, he'll be killing everybody.
Does that mean that these champions are going to see much more professional play than they did before?
Yeah, so a lot of the champions that have been changed, generally speaking, are not competitively viable, but they're just on the cusp of it. So these changes will probably bring them to the forefront of competitive play, or at least give them an opportunity to show what they've got as champions.
Do we have any concrete numbers yet on what will or will not be working, or is it all kind of still a bit speculative?
It's absolutely speculative.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty behind this patch at the moment, is there's so many questions that can't actually be answered unless you experiment with it and explore your options, which could actually make competitive really exciting.
How long do you think it'll be before we start seeing actual builds come out of this new patch?
I think we'll see different builds immediately. That's the best thing about it. What is the best build though is still yet to be answered. So we'll see slowly but surely teams will win more games than other teams with certain things. Everyone will adapt. In competitive in particular, it comes down to trial and error and working out what is optimal for them, usually based off what beats them.
All right, Rusty, thank you so much for joining us and chatting to us about these latest patch changes with League of Legends.
No, it was a pleasure to be here.
So that is it for today's show. Let us know in the comments what you think of the League of Legends patch changes. Or as always, you can try and contact me directly by guessing my personal information. Let me tell you, I grew up in a town called Illawong, and that might be a password I use. All right, see ya!